About a year ago, I was in the city of Southport in the coastal areas of North Carolina, and I happened to visit this antique shop that I'd never been to before. It was amazing. I love antique shops, especially when they have actual substantive old artifacts. So I perused around and I got a couple stuff. I splurged. But probably the best thing I picked up from that whole place was this book right here called Elbert Hubbard's Scrapbook. Elbert Hubbard himself was a fascinating man, and he even died on the Titanic. But I care about him because he wrote this book. Or more accurately, he compiled this book. You see, Elbert Hubbard's scrapbook was never actually intended for publication. It was a series of poems, stories, and other motivational quotes to help inspire him in daily life. But after his death, it was published in his honor, and I'm very glad it was. I mean, he did a good job. Reading those quotes and stories and poems is truly inspirational and has led me to do many things in my life. Fear not that thy life shall come to an end, but rather fear that it shall never have a beginning. Oh, music to my ears. Although I do have to take a lot of what is said in the book with a grain of salt, because Elbert Hubbard had some questionable philosophies. It seemed that he was a communist sympathizer and often talked about the power of being alone and brooding loneliness, which is cool and all, and I totally respect that he believed that. I just don't personally agree with a lot of that. Still though, it has some amazing quotes like the one I just read. All of that said, that is still not the coolest part of this book. The coolest part wasn't actually written by Elbert Hubbard at all, but it's found in the beginning of the book. The camera's not focusing at all, but it says Lili Moore, 1938. That is the previous owner of this book. Someone by the name of Lili Moore in 1938. When she owned this book, World War II hadn't even happened yet. It was Lili Moore that was perusing this book almost 100 years ago. And I think there's a really important idea in that, and that's that a book is more than just the contents inside. Sometimes it's the story of the book itself, where it's been, who's read it, who's owned it, and where it is now. I don't know much about this Lili Moore from 1938, but I do know some sections that she liked more than others, based off of these notations in the book. At least that's what I assume, meaning that she liked them more. But other than that, I have no idea who she is. Who is Lili Moore? I really don't know, but I still feel her presence so strongly when reading this book, like a glimpse into a strange past that I've never known, into the world of somebody else, into their mind. Lili Moore was a person, just like you and me, a person with a full life of her own, and in some strange fashion, I get to be a part of that. I may not have known her, or even who she is, but I still feel like I have a piece of her with me. It is a puzzling mystery that is constantly in the back of my mind. Who was Lili Moore? There's definitely people on the internet that have way better sleuthing skills at finding people than I do. So if you want to take on the challenge and try to find who this Lili Moore was, I would love to hear your answers down in the comments below. But this idea extends to all books, and especially antique books, and actually not even books, just any artifact. I definitely think about it with coins a lot, when they're dated to the past. What is the story of the coin? It could have been thousands of miles away in another place, being used to buy a pair of matches. And maybe now I'm using it as change after shopping at Target. This is its story. It is the story of the people that used it, and I just wish we could know what that story is. But we do have remnants, and sometimes that's more, sometimes that's less. In my case, it's just a name. But all of that really culminates into ourselves. How can we leave an impact that will last 100 years into the future? Maybe it's just our name in a book. Maybe we change the world. That story is up to you.